Hi. Welcome to Luna Listens to Books channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. Now the story begins. Laid up in the hospital with a severe cold hooked up to an 4, I received a text from Warren's lover wishing me an early demise. I took a screenshot and sent it to Warren, exposing the true face of his so-called purest love. I uncovered a secret about my boyfriend. Warren was not the perfect lover, was merely a substitute for his love. But what they didn't know was that I had a debt to settle with them. I had been dating Warren for 6 months. He had disguised himself well, making me believe he was a truly good man. He would give me several $1,000s each week, bring me new handbags and new shoes, and accompany me on shopping sprees for various new clothes. He would hold me and whisper sweet nothings in my ear, saying, "I really love you." Warren was a qualified boyfriend. If only he hadn't treated me like a stand-in for someone filthy. Hidden deep within Warren's phone gallery was a photo I stumbled upon unintentionally. It depicted a beautiful girl with long hair, lying on the bed in Warren's home. Her clothes were disheveled, and there were several ambiguous red marks on her fair neck. There was something inexplicably familiar about the girl's eyes and brows. After a long look, I realized her eyes and her demeanor were very similar to mine. Locked Warren's phone screen and pretended I hadn't seen anything. After all, with the thousands of dollars he gave me each week to spend, it wasn't worth squabbling over with him. Waiting for Warren to come out of the restroom, he told me, "I have something to do tonight, so I can't accompany you to buy a handbag." I asked him, what could be more important than going with me to buy a handbag? Warren, toweling his hair dry, replied, "My sister is sick. I need to buy her some medicine." "Your sister?" Warren paused in his toweling, saying, "Well, sort of a foster sister." He asked me, "Would you like to come over for dinner at my place tomorrow? My parents will be there." I was quite interested in meeting Warren's parents and agreed. At the Buckland family dinner table, I saw the long-haired girl from Warren's phone gallery. She looked innocent and beautiful, like an angel. I felt Warren unconsciously tighten his grip on my hand, his voice hoarse as he called out to the girl. "Amy." She was Warren's foster sister, Amy. Amy gently greeted both me and Warren. Warren pulled me to sit beside Amy. Mrs. Buckland wasn't too fond of me, her attitude cold, but she was very kind to Amy, helping her with food. "You're weak, remember to take your medicine after dinner." Amy, resigned, said, "Mom, I do take my medicine on time. I'll always treat me like a child." Warren, caring towards his foster sister, chimed in, "You need to take the medicine the doctor prescribed on time." Mr. Buckland commented, "You've been abroad so long and still haven't recovered, surely because you didn't take your medicine on time." Amy playfully scolded, "Dad, Warren, Nicola is here, don't nag me in front of her." Seeing Amy mention me, Mrs. Buckland reluctantly said a few words. "It's your first visit to our home, eat up. The food prepared by our maid is rather bland, you'll just have to make do." I was indifferent, shoveling food into my mouth. "Thank you, Mrs. Buckland." Mrs. Buckland frowned and parted her lips to speak but ended up saying nothing. I picked a piece of fish, picking out the bones. Seeing my enthusiasm, Amy also took a piece of fish. Warren plucked the bones from a piece of fish in his bowl and placed it on Amy's plate. "Eat this, I've just removed the fish bones." Then he took the piece of fish from Amy's plate on his own. Casting a glance, I noted how he even picked out the bones for her. My own brother, when he was alive, hadn't treated me this well. Could this foster sister be the unspoken love hidden deep in Warren's heart? Throughout the meal, Amy was the happiest eater there. After all, she was the girl everyone focused on. Amy seemed to notice that Mr. and Mrs. Buckland were ignoring me and kindly brought up a topic. "I hear that your mother works as a cleaning lady." Upon hearing cleaning lady, Mrs. Buckland immediately frowned. I took a sip of water and replied, "Not a cleaning lady. Why, Mom fell ill a few years ago and has been hospitalized for treatment." I slowly added, "The hospital bills were all paid by Warren." I saw Amy frown slightly, but she quickly reassembled her expression and said with a smile, "So it was Warren who paid." She teased gently, "Warren really does care about you." Warren put down his cutlery and said to Amy, remember the necklace you said you liked last time? I had someone buy it and put it in your room." Amy was surprised and blurted out, "You got me a gift?" Warren nodded. "You said you liked it, so I bought it for you." He looked down, took my hand, and said to Mr. and Mrs. Buckland, "Dad, Mom, I'm full, I'll be leaving now." Warren pulled me and we walked out of the Buckland family's house. Before leaving my seat, I saw Amy's gaze fall on Warren holding my hand. In front of her, I shook that wrist and followed Warren out. After leaving the house, Warren told me, "My mom might care about your family's financial situation, so don't mention these things to her in the future." I hummed in acknowledgement, curiously asking him, "Wasn't it your foster sister who brought it up first?" Mentioning Amy, Warren was silent for a few seconds. She might have been trying to find a topic for you." I smiled wryly, "Mentioning in front of your parents that my mom is a cleaning lady." Warren frowned, warning me, "Nicola." I bit my lip and turned my head away, staying silent. I had studied this angle and expression. It made me look almost exactly like his foster sister Amy. Sure enough, Warren quickly calmed down and embraced me to soothe me. "Nicola, I'm sorry, I was too harsh just now." I did not respond to him. "I'll buy you a new handbag, don't be upset." Hearing about a new handbag, I reached out and hugged him, stating, "I want 10. Warren whispered softly, "All right, as you wish." Warren accompanied me to buy a bunch of new handbags, which cheered me up. I made up an excuse about going out for coffee with a friend to get away from Warren. Then I sold all the new handbags he bought me and deposited the money into my bank account. Afterward, I bought my mother's favorite soup and went to the hospital to see her. "Mom, are you feeling any better?" My mother, wearing a loose hospital gown, sat on the bed looking out the window, ignoring me. The nurse next to us said, "Your mother's condition is stable now, but she still needs to be hospitalized for observation." I served the soup and placed it on the table beside her. "Then she will continue to stay here. My boyfriend will pay for it." The nurse hesitated before speaking, unable to hold back. "Last night, when I was on duty, I saw your boyfriend bringing another girl to see a doctor." I paused, asking, "Another girl?" The nurse nodded. "Yes, a girl who looked somewhat ill but was very pretty." Ill and pretty, I had an idea who that girl might be. "That's my boyfriend's foster sister," I explained. The nurse was taken aback, mumbling under her breath, "Foster sister, it didn't seem like it. I thought they were a couple." After changing the sheets, the nurse left. My mother moved her lips, speaking words I couldn't understand. After listening for a while, I only made out my brother's name. Nathan. My brother's name was Nathan, and he took our father's surname. Our father died of cancer a few years ago, and Nathan died in a car accident 2 years ago. Unable to withstand the blows, my mother's health deteriorated further, and her mental state worsened, requiring hospitalization. I sighed deeply, picked up the warm soup, and fed it to my mother. "Mom, have some soup." Smelling the soup, my mother quietly bowed her head and drank. After feeding my mother, I greeted the nurse and left the hospital to go to my brother's gravesite. I said to my brother's gravestone, "Nathan, I've found the person who caused your death." I declared, "I won't let her get away with it." Nathan was killed by Amy. Amy had a heart condition, and by chance my brother's heart was a perfect match for her. She approached my brother under the guise of love, becoming his girlfriend just to seize his heart. Later, she feigned a serious illness. In his hurry to see her at the hospital, Nathan was involved in a fatal car accident. Before he died, he donated his heart to Amy. After receiving his heart, Amy didn't even glance at my brother's body. Instead, she rushed into Warren's arms, playing the role of a fragile, helpless sister. I couldn't believe that Amy had something to do with my brother's death. She must pay for my brother's demise. I returned from the cemetery and caught a cold from staying out in the cold for too long. Combined with a sleepless night, my cold worsened into a severe one. I ignored Warren's calls. Anxious, he knocked on my door and burst into my bedroom to carry me to the hospital for treatment. "You have a fever, why didn't you tell me? Do you know how worried I get?" he scolded, leaning on Warren's shoulder, my mind foggy from the fever. I mustered the strength to reply. "I didn't want to worry you," I said. Warren, both angry and helpless, replied, "Seeing you like this worries me even more." A nurse came to administer my four, and Warren wrapped me in his jacket. His phone vibrated inside the jacket. I gently tugged at his sleeve. "Your phone is ringing." Warren stepped around me to retrieve his phone from his jacket. After glancing at the screen, he murmured, "I need to take this call." I nodded obediently. Warren stepped outside to talk. Unbeknownst to him, I had seen the caller ID. It was Amy calling him. Warren returned shortly, looking uneasy. "Nicola, I need to handle something." My head was throbbing as I clutched at his jacket. "Can't you stay with me?" I pleaded weakly. Warren comforted me. "I just need to sort something out, and then I'll be back to stay with you." I bit my lip, my voice frail. "Please don't go." Warren hugged me and said, "Sorry, Nicola, I'll be back soon." After ensuring I was covered with his jacket, he quickly left the hospital. I leaned against the hospital wall, touching my feverish forehead. I regretted taking that cold bath last night. After half an hour on the floor, I checked my phone and found a text message from an unknown number wishing me death. I took a screenshot when another message from the same number came, with a screenshot of Amy's Instagram. "Happy birthday, Amy." The image showed Warren lighting the candles on her birthday cake. I glanced at the 4 needle in my hand, the irony stinging. I tried calling the unknown number, but no one answered. I turned off my phone and leaned against the wall, waiting for the 4 to finish. Warren was busy celebrating his foster sister's birthday and didn't return to the hospital all night. I was left alone in the hospital for the entire night. By the time I returned home the next day, Warren hurried over. "Nicola, are you feeling any better from your cold?" I shook my head, not in the mood to engage with him. Warren made me a warm water infusion with some medicine and placed it beside me. Asked him, "Have you finished your work?" Warren's body stiffened as he nodded, "Yes, I've finished." I turned away, my voice weak. "So you only thought of me after you were done? Am I not important to you at all?" Warren quickly embraced me, trying to explain, "No, you are always very important to me." Tears welled up in my eyes as I asked, "Then why weren't you around when I was sick? You didn't even have time to accompany me to the hospital for a drip." Warren looked guilty, apologizing, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I won't do it again. There really was something important that held me back." I stubbornly avoided looking at him. Warren seemed to realize his mistake and kept reassuring me. "I was wrong. I really won't do it again. Please, don't be mad at me." He held me gently, trying to soothe me. "What was it that held you back?" I asked him. "Was it your stepsister?" Warren appeared troubled, and said, "No, it was my dad asking me to handle some leaked documents at the company. I was up all night working on it." "Why did you suddenly mention Amy?" I showed him a screenshot from an unknown number. Warren frowned, trying to explain, "I did celebrate Amy's birthday, but it was just lighting some candles." Warren added, "Send me this number, I'll have someone check who is behind this shady act." I hesitated, sent him the unknown number, and pushed him gently. "You better go rest now." Warren buried his head in my shoulder and let out a soft humming sound. "I'm a bit tired, I just want to hold you a bit longer." I turned around and said, "Then stay with me for a nap." Warren paused, then I reached out, wrapping my arms around his neck, feeling frail and insecure. Then I heard his voice hoarse, "Okay." I lowered my eyebrows, thinking, indeed, he couldn't resist a girl who reminded him of his stepsister. I pulled Warren towards the bed in the bedroom, and we lay down together. Warren soon fell asleep in my arms. I reached for my phone, opened the selfie camera, and aimed it at Warren and me, wrapped my arms around Warren's neck and kissed his thin lips. After the shot, I edited the photo with a filter, then sent it to that unknown number from last night. Tit for tat, let's see who can win this game, I thought. A minutes after sending the photo, Warren's phone rang. Warren slept deeply, his brow furrowing at the sound of the ringtone. I grabbed his phone and glanced at the caller. It was Amy. I pressed the answer button. "Hello, sister, what do you need from Warren?" There was a moment of silence on the other end, then Amy's voice came through. "Is this Nicola? Why do you have Warren's phone?" I glanced at Warren sleeping beside me. Warren is a bit tired, he's asleep. If you have anything to tell him, you can tell me, and I'll pass it on. Amy was silent for a while. I heard the sound of a cup breaking on her side. If Warren is asleep, I'll call him when he wakes up. I won't trouble you, Nicola. After a pause, Amy added, Warren doesn't like others touching his things. He gets mad at you. Let me know and I'll teach him a lesson. My fingers played with Warren's hair. No need to trouble you, sister. Warren won't be mad at me, don't worry. Calling her sister repeatedly left Amy speechless. Amy took a deep breath. Is that so? Then I must be overthinking. I told her, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up now, goodbye. I pressed the end call button without giving Amy any extra time to react. After hanging up, my wrist was grabbed. Warren's voice was hoarse as he asked, whose call was that? His head was groggy, and his reaction was slow. I answered, it was Amy. I watched his face change instantly as he snatched his phone from my hand, suppressing his anger. Didn't I tell you not to touch my phone? My face turned pale as I looked at him pitifully, almost in disbelief. You're angry with me just because I touched your phone? Warren saw my pale face and hesitated for a second before his body relaxed. That's not what I meant. He said to me, I'll go return the call first, you rest well. Warren got up and took his phone outside, closing my room door behind him. Heard him making the call outside, calling out, sister. I felt nauseated, almost to the point of throwing up from disgust. That white moonlight foster sister really made me sick. I mixed some herbal granules and drank them down with 2 anti-inflammatory pills. It wasn't convincing enough yet. I thought it wasn't disgusting enough for those 2. I had to try harder. I felt no guilt towards Warren, treated me as a stand-in for his foster cyst, and I was just using his unspeakable feelings to disgust Amy. When Warren finished his call and returned, about to speak, I hugged his waist and weakly asked, are you leaving? Won't you stay with me? Warren wanted to speak. I got up and silenced him with a kiss. After kissing for a long time, I released him, slightly out of breath, and coyly said, stay with me, okay? Warren hesitated for a moment. My eyes were moist as I bit my lip and looked at him. The overly similar eyebrows and eyes made it impossible for him to refuse. He held me and stayed, saying, okay, I'll stay with you. I hugged him as we slept and whispered, don't sneak away. Warren pursed his lips. I won't sleep now. Warren's phone screen glowed faintly. I glanced at it. It was an unread message from Amy. Pressing against Warren and kissing his lips, I pushed his phone to the edge of the bed while he didn't notice. Unable to focus on his phone, he kissed back and whispered, I love you so much. The white moonlight couldn't overcome the man's vile nature. Hugging him and resting my head on Warren's chest, I fell asleep contentedly. Amy would lose, she would lose miserably to me. When I woke up, it was already 3 in the afternoon. Warren was still asleep, his phone lying on the bedside table. I reached for his phone, but it was locked with a password, entered Amy's birthday, 0906. The phone unlocked easily. I opened the messages from Amy to Warren. Amy, I'm suddenly not feeling well, when will you be back? Amy? I closed the conversation and sent myself the photo Warren had hidden in his album, then I deleted the message record and tossed the phone back on the bedside table. Warren woke up a while later and instinctively reached out to wrap his arm around my waist, let him hold me and asked, when are you going to propose to me? Warren seemed a bit confused, his voice still hoarse from sleep. Why are you asking this all of a sudden? I said, I've already met your parents, when can we get married? Warren was silent for a moment before he said, your mom is still sick, you can wait until she gets better, then we can get married. He added, I want your mom to be able to attend our wedding. I replied, it's okay if my mom can't attend our wedding, she said, as long as I'm happy, that's enough. Warren didn't agree, he said, let's wait a bit longer, there's no rush, I want to give you a grand wedding. My hand rested on his chest, feeling the steady rise and fall of his breathing and the calm beating of his heart. I said, all right, I'll wait for you. Men's words are just lies to deceive fools, and to trick those naive girls who are easy to fool. Warren found his phone and quickly got up after seeing Amy's messages. Nicola, my dad asked me to revise last night's documents. I have to go. After Warren left, I saved the photo from Warren's album onto my phone. From the dinner at the Buckland family a couple of days ago, it was clear how Warren's parents felt about me. They thought I was too poor and unworthy of their son. It didn't matter compared to them, I indeed seemed poor. I sent the photo hidden in Warren's phone to Mrs. Buckland using another number. I saw a new friend request on my phone. It was Amy. Accepted it. Amy invited me to meet at a private cafe around 7 o'clock. I agreed. The private cafe was very close to my home. L ordered takeout for dinner before heading over. Amy wore an all-white outfit with her beautiful long hair styled softly. She looked very gentle. She ordered a black coffee for me. I want to talk to you. I sat across from Amy, stirring my coffee. About what? About Warren, Amy said. I raised an eyebrow and asked her, talk about my boyfriend, what's there to talk about? Amy frowned, seemingly displeased by my mention of boyfriend. But she quickly relaxed her expression and said to me, Warren has someone he likes, he doesn't like you. I laughed, who does he like? Amy hinted, haven't you noticed, you look a lot like me, he's just using you as a stand-in. I arched an eyebrow, so, are you saying that Warren doesn't love me and that he truly loves you? Amy took a sip of her coffee. That's exactly how it is, I mocked her, aren't you his foster sister? Amy looked up. We aren't related by blood. Oh, then why isn't he with you? I asked her. Why did he find me as a stand-in instead? Amy put down her coffee cup. That's not something you need to know, you just need to know that you're my stand-in. Warren is with you only because you resemble me. What do you want to say? Amy took out a card and said to me, there's $500,000 in here, leave Warren. $500,000 wasn't nearly enough. Too little, I won't leave. Amy furrowed her delicate brows. How much do you want? If you give me $50 million, I might consider it. Impossible. I leaned back in my chair. Then I'm not leaving. Amy looked at me with a trace of disgust in her eyes. Are you clinging on to Warren because you want to marry into the Buckland family? I shrugged indifferently. You figured it out. Amy retracted her card. You'll never marry into the Buckland family. Oh, why not? Amy revealed her malicious side. Isn't your mother mentally ill? Who would want a daughter-in-law with a mentally ill mother? My eyes turned cold but quickly softened again. I chuckled lightly. Even if I can't marry into the Buckland family, neither can you be with Warren. After all, you're the Buckland family's foster daughter. Mrs. Buckland wouldn't allow you to seduce her biological son, right? My words struck Amy's fragile heart and hit her weak spot. She fumed, you. I said, besides, Mrs. Buckland might actually accept me as her daughter-in-law over someone as scheming as you. Compared to someone with dirty thoughts like Amy, she might prefer someone pure-hearted like me. I put down my coffee cup and stood up. I have things to do. I won't keep you company any longer. As left, the cafetable Amy shouted at me in anger. You enjoy being someone's stand-in? Pathetic, shameless. With my back turned to her, I responded lightly. Yes, I do enjoy being someone's stand-in, especially being your stand-in. The sound of a cup smashing came from behind me as I walked out of the cafe with joy in my heart. Even though Amy's words made me nauseous enough to lean against a wall and vomit after leaving the cafe, it couldn't dampen my inner satisfaction. After having coffee with Amy, I received a message from Mrs. Buckland. She asked me to meet with her tomorrow. I had no reason to refuse, as she was to be my future mother in LAW.ATR meeting. My future mother-in-law handed me a card. $5 million, marry my son. The price had gone up. It was 10 times more than the $50,000 that Bai Yuquang's sister had received. I agreed. When is the wedding, Mom? Mrs. Buckland, fiddling with the green ring on her finger, replied, I will arrange it as soon as possible. I responded politely, okay, thank you, Mom. I tucked the card with $5 million into my waist pouch. Mom, what's the pin for this card? Mrs. Buckland, suppressing her disgust, responded to my repeated calls of Mom. The PIN is 6 zeros. She added, you can change how you address me later. I declined Mrs. Buckland, I'm used to it, Mom. I'm happy to be your daughter-in-law. I really liked the 5 million hush money. Very generous. Mrs. Buckland's expression was as if she had swallowed a fly, but she managed to hold it back. I asked, Mom, does Warren know about this? Mrs. Buckland coldly replied, I will handle that side of things, no need for you to worry. I nodded obediently. Okay, Mom. Mrs. Buckland, annoyed by me, quickly left after discussing the matter. Holding the newly acquired 5 million, I thought to myself that photo was really worth a lot. Amy's days in the Buckland family, I quest, would not be easy. But this was exactly what I wanted. Warren soon received the command from Mrs. Buckland to marry me, and he furrowed his brow and questioned me. What did you say to my mom? I fidgeted with the hem of my clothes, nervously replying, I didn't say anything. Warren, suppressing his anger, soothed me. Don't cry, I'm not blaming you. I do want to marry you, it's just it feels too sudden. My mom lashed out at Amy at home and wants me to marry you next month. I perked up my ears, feeling satisfied hearing about Amy's misfortune. I looked at Warren with teary eyes. Next month isn't too sudden. You said you wanted to give me a grand wedding, didn't you? Warren was caught off guard by my question, and a pained expression crossed his face. After a long silence, he said hoarsely, Yes, I did say that. I want to give you a grand wedding. Our wedding was set for the 15th of next month. Warren did not resist, and Amy was confined at home by Mrs. Buckland, heard that Amy's heart condition had flared up again and she would be sent abroad for treatment once she stabilized. While Warren and I were choosing the wedding dress, I saw Amy. Amy stood outside the bridal shop, looking at me with hateful eyes. From her gaze, I could see her cursing me. Bitch. Warren was originally with me choosing the wedding dress, but upon seeing Amy outside, he couldn't help rushing out. I sat inside the bridal shop, sipping tea offered by the owner, watching them struggle outside. Tears streaked down Amy's cheeks as she looked helplessly at Warren. Warren's eyes were full of pain as he held Amy's wrist and said something to her. Amy cried and shook her head, pulling away from Warren's hand and running off. Warren seemed like he wanted to chase after her, but after a few steps, he stopped and eventually returned to the bridal shop. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed his cheek, cooing. What were you doing just now? How come you disappeared? Warren looked down at the wedding dress on me, paused, and said, I just went to buy you something to eat, but it was too crowded, so I came back. I asked him, do you like the wedding dress I chose? Warren replied, it's beautiful. I pushed further, asking him, then do you love me? Warren's eyes were filled with complex emotions: pain, conflict, and confusion. He struggled for a few seconds before saying, yes. I love you. I cuddled against him, rubbing my neck against his. As he embraced my back, I knew he was beginning to lose clarity on who he truly loved. Was it the foster sister he grew up with, or me, the stand-in for his foster sister, or perhaps he loved both? The wedding approached the next month, and on the eve of the wedding I received a crazed text from Amy filled with curses and dirty words, along with a photo of her and Warren lying in bed. I didn't understand their incestuous relationship, but it didn't stop me from delighting in her anger, nor did it stop me from exploiting it. I looked at the intimate photo, feeling a bit regretful. I had planned to drug them to lie together, but it turned out to be unnecessary. However, I wasn't going to let Amy off the hook. I bought some drugs and on the day of the wedding, slipped them into Amy's drink. Then, dressed in my wedding gown, I went with Warren to toast her. Sister, I hope you wish Warren and me a happy marriage. Warren and I toasted her together, and Amy, grinding her teeth, forced a smile and wished us well. Happy marriage, little sister. Warren raised his glass to clink with hers, and couldn't help but add, drink less, you're frail. Mrs. Buckland's expression changed slightly. I watched Amy with a smile, and she looked unwell, barely managing to say, I feel a bit unwell, I'll go upstairs to rest. Warren watched Amy leave, and after finishing the toast, also found an excuse to go upstairs to see Amy. I calculated the time was about right, and pulled Mrs. Buckland upstairs. Mom, I drank a bit too much, I want some sobering medicine. Mrs. Buckland coldly said. I'll accompany you upstairs to get it. Naturally, I linked arms with Mrs. Buckland as we went upstairs, and she, for the sake of appearances, did not shake me off. After reaching upstairs, I pushed open the door, allowing Mrs. Buckland to immediately see Amy and Warren in a compromising position on the bed. Mrs. Buckland's face drastically changed. You too? She shouted angrily. Amy, Warren, what are you doing? Amy, startled by Mrs. Buckland's voice, pushed Warren away. She was pale, clutching the bedsheet to cover herself, trembling as she cried out. Mom. Mrs. Buckland clenched her teeth. Don't call me Mom, I don't have such a shameless daughter. Warren interjected. Mom, it was my fault, I was temporarily bewitched, don't blame her. Mrs. Buckland's fury was immense. Shut up. I don't have such a disgraceful son. From today onwards, Amy is expelled from the Buckland family, she is no longer my daughter. Mrs. Buckland looked at Amy, frail and pitiful. To do such a thing at your own brother's wedding, you're insane. Considering the Buckland family's reputation and Warren, Mrs. Buckland's disgust for this once dearly loved foster daughter was extreme. Mrs. Buckland slammed the door as she left the room. Amy, seeing Mrs. Buckland gone, gritted her teeth and accused me. Did you do this? My eyes instantly reddened. Sister, what are you talking about? How could you and Warren do such a thing? Warren, you're disgusting. Divorce, I want a divorce from you. Warren instinctively tried to soothe me. Nicola, he hurriedly dressed and came over to grab my wrist. Nicola, listen to me explain, it's not what you saw. I shook off his hand with teary eyes. It's not what I saw, then what is it? I questioned him with a sobbing voice. Warren, do you even have a place for me in your heart? I'd of course have a place for you in my heart, I was just temporarily bewitched. I'm sorry. Warren frantically tried to placate me. Amy, watching me and Warren, was deeply hurt. She shrieked. Warren. Warren stiffened, and I cried and threw myself into his arms. Warren, you jerk. Warren embraced me, continuously apologizing. I'm sorry, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Amy had never experienced such coldness from Warren. She shrieked. Warren, don't you love me anymore? I clutched Warren's shirt, looking at him with wounded eyes, driving a spike called guilt into his heart. He turned away from Amy, his voice strained. I'm sorry, Amy, we shouldn't have done this. Amy, stung by Warren's words, lost all restraint and threw everything on the bed at Warren. Warren, you jerk, you liar, do you even know what you're saying? I know. Warren said, we were wrong, I don't want to continue this mistake. Let this mistake end here. Warren. Amy shrieked hysterically, like a madwoman. Warren, protecting me, left the room and went to the adjacent changing room. He whispered soothingly. Nicola, don't be mad at me. I shook my head, telling him, Warren, I want a divorce. Warren looked panicked like a child. Don't divorce. I don't want to divorce you. I pushed him away. You don't love me. No, I love you. My eyes reddened as I said to him, give me some time to cool down by myself. The wedding ended in a farce. Mrs. Buckland was suspicious of me, but without evidence, she couldn't say anything outright. Overnight, Amy went from a wealthy princess to a destitute slum girl. She was not resigned, trying to use Warren's love to return to a wealthy life. But Warren was strung along by me. I had nearly perfectly imitated Amy's behavior, and with my various psychological suggestions. He had long been unable to distinguish who he truly loved. He didn't love Amy, nor did he love me, but the inferior version of Amy that I pretended to be. Amy's attempts to win back Warren failed multiple times, and with her intimate photo with Warren circulated, she was subject to relentless discussion in the narrow upper echelons, unable to rely on others to return to her previous wealthy life, unable to endure the hardship. She climbed to the top floor and jumped to her death. When I heard of Amy's suicide, I thought of the heart in her chest that belonged to my brother. If only she hadn't been so extreme, deceiving and using my brother, she wouldn't have ended up this way. Warren, hearing of Amy's suicide, locked himself in his room for 3 days, and when he came out, he treated the inferior version of Amy that I pretended to be with extreme tenderness. His tenderness disgusted me. I shook off Warren's attempting hand. I want to divorce you. Warren paused, confused. Why? Because you slept with Amy, it's too dirty. I looked him in the eyes, and I don't love you. Warren was at a loss. But you used to say you loved me, I cut him off. That was a lie, I was just pretending to love you. I knew from the start you saw me as a substitute for Amy. I stayed by your side, learning Amy's pretentious ways, pretending to love you, deceiving your feelings and heart. Warren was silent, then he asked me. Why did you pretend? I laughed through tears, saying slowly, because Amy killed my brother, I wanted to get close to you to avenge him. Warren spoke hoarsely, but I never saw you as a substitute, I've always loved you. Do you think I would believe that? I smiled slightly. Your lies are full of holes, don't deceive yourself. You're just clinging to all your feelings on me because Amy died, you never truly loved me. Even if it was love, it was for the inferior version of Amy that I pretended to be. The divorce dragged on for 3 years. Warren humbly tried to retain me, even getting into a car accident that broke his legs, trying to bind me with his sympathy. Unfortunately, I wasn't swayed. After 3 years of struggle, Warren and I obtained our divorce papers at the Civil Affairs Bureau, and I received a substantial divorce settlement. I transferred this money to my mother's account, instructing the hospital's caregivers to take good care of her. Then I said to Warren, goodbye. Warren sat in his wheelchair, silent, and as I turned to leave, he asked me, did you really never love me? Never. You such a rotten person, how could you deserve my love? Today's story is over. Thank you all for listening.